One is a tribute piece to my uncle. He passed away a year ago today, and just come to find out he was the first queer person in my life, and I didn't even know it. So here's hopefully from this you'll get a sense of who he is. My first memory of Uncle Henry, coming home in a cab to my grandmother's house. He would get settled and then get right to work on the turkey and dressing. I watched my grandma, Aunt Linda, and Uncle Henry working on the dishes in the kitchen. I first helped by cleaning the cake batter from the mixer in the bowls. And I remember when Aunt Linda and he trusted me to cut some veggies. I was doing the celery and the green onions for the longest. I don't know what made them trust me with a knife at that young age, but I'm glad that Uncle Henry saw something in me and connected me to cooking. Little did I know that he would use his skill of connecting with young people like me in his life work. And as I've gotten older, I realized we were on similar paths. He was an actor, he was a writer, he was a speaker, a teacher. I didn't realize that we were so similar because he was such a private man. He shared some of his acting experiences. I was so happy for him, and he supported some of my acting ventures. And I remember when I wrote my second play and it got recorded in New Orleans for a podcast, he gave me so much love and feedback. Now, my Uncle Henry was a very cultured man. He'd read my work. He would read my works and give me great feedback that I held dear. I wrote a play about his parents, and he was so taken by the characters that he let me know I was onto something. He loved discussing different things like politics, society, and family history. But when I learned about his journey from Franklin Parish to New Orleans, I was awestruck. Henry told me that his mother inspired him to take the journey to Louisiana School for the Blind from Franklin Parish, Winsboro. It changed his whole life trajectory. It took a lot of courage to strike out on your own. Even though I knew that was part of his story, but the bravery it took to embark on the journey didn't hit me until now. When we started having the family calls and decided to do some things to get to know our family better, he wanted to work on a family history project. So we were supposed to connect earlier in 2024, like February, to start on the project. But then it got pushed back a month because he wasn't feeling well. Then the next month, instead of meeting about family history, he asked to take me to the doctor. And of course, I said, sure. I came down, only to find out that the doctor's office was a dialysis center. The nurse was telling me that he wasn't following his diet. So when he wanted to have dinner, my mind wasn't on having dinner. I was thinking about the dietary changes and thought, well, he needs to eat some vegetables. He needs to eat some fruit. He don't need to be eating all this rich stuff anymore. Well, my cousin Dwayne later told me that he wanted us to have a talk. Well, I started coming down regularly to take him to the grocery store, to dialysis, and take care of some business around town. And I remember after his health started to decline, visiting him in the hospital here in Baton Rouge. We watched the Democratic National Convention together, and it was the last night of the convention, the day Kamala Harris spoke. It was a historic moment that I knew he would appreciate. Experiencing his life, I don't think he would have even dreamed of the day of a black woman being able to run for the highest office in the land.
Yes.
Yeah.
He had been resting and not saying much, keeping his eyes closed, but he perked up when he heard her speak. That was the moment when I got to squeeze his hand while he was getting his IV changed. I wanted him to know someone was there, that family was there. He slowly opened his eyes, and about halfway, and then he squeezed my hand profusely. The next night, I came over for him to listen to the family prayer call, and he stirred, hearing the voices of his cousins on the phone. And I thank God that we were able to get him back to New Orleans where he could be comfortable. I saw him 2 more times since then. Once with my Aunt Linda, and one day, which I did not know would be the last time. But maybe I did. I took a photo of him, not as a final way to remember him, but to chronicle the journey that my uncle was on. And in all that time, he never showed fear. He knew the life he lived, and he was ready to face what's next. And I was glad to be there alongside him.